All right, let's dive right in. We're about to give you a strategic preview of how Exam Coaches trains you to think like a certified professional biller, and it all starts with understanding a few hard truths.
Let that sink in for a moment. You can have every single field filled out, every code looking perfect, and still, that claim gets denied. It's a super frustrating reality that so many billers face every single day.
And the stakes? They are incredibly high. We're not just talking about a delay. A single misplaced modifier, one misunderstood rule, that can literally cost a practice thousands of dollars in lost revenue. It affects the entire financial health of the organization.
And this, right here, this is the heart of it all. Being accurate is just the starting line. But being compliant, really getting the why behind every rule, that's what separates a good biller from a truly great one. And that's exactly what we're going to preview today.
So what is it that makes the CPP exam so challenging for so many people? Well, it's because it's designed to test one thing above everything else: your judgment, not just your ability to memorize rules.
You know, so many people study by trying to cram definitions and regulations into their heads. But the exam doesn't just ask you, hey, what is a global package? No, it gives you a complex, real-world scenario and expects you to apply those rules correctly, right there, under pressure. It's all about application, not just recall.
And this is exactly where we see candidates get tripped up time and time again. These aren't some obscure topics. They are the absolute fundamentals. Misunderstanding the details of incident to billing, getting confused about what's actually included in a global surgical package, or making simple errors on the claim forms. These are the high-stakes areas that can absolutely make or break your exam score. So, the crucial point is this. Success isn't about knowing more rules than the next person. It's about developing the critical thinking skills, the billing judgment, to apply those rules the right way, every single time. That's the mindset shift we're talking about.
Okay, so now let's actually look at how Exam Coaches helps you build that judgment. We're going to walk through a few really common scenarios using our systematic framework. Now, this isn't the full lesson, of course. It's a preview of the thinking process.
Here is a classic CPB scenario. You see a service performed by a nurse practitioner. Now, the first impulse might be to just bill it, but a certified professional stops and asks the real question: does this meet the very strict Incident 2 requirements to get that full 100% physician reimbursement instead of the lower 85%?
See, instead of guessing, a pro uses a framework. You have to systematically check the boxes. Was there direct physician supervision in the office suite? Did the physician personally handle the initial visit for this specific problem? What's the employment status of both providers? Following a clear order like this is how you find the compliant and correct answer.
Okay, let's try another one. You see a claim for a post-op visit just 2 weeks after a major surgery. Is this something you can bill for, or is it considered double dipping? This is a huge, huge area for errors and potential takebacks from the insurance company. And again, we tackle this with a structured analysis. So what's the very first step? You have to determine if the original surgery was major or minor. That one fact dictates the global period, which, for major surgeries, is 90 days. Since 2 weeks falls squarely inside that 90-day window, you know this follow-up is almost certainly part of the post-op care and included in the original payment. No separate billing allowed.
Now, this next one is absolutely critical for compliance, because unbundling isn't just a simple mistake. It can actually be viewed as fraud. You see a claim with a bunch of CPT codes for just a single encounter. How do you know if it's legitimate or if it's an attempt to improperly pump up the reimbursement?
So what exactly is unbundling? It's basically billing separately for services that should really be combined into one. Think of it like this. You wouldn't bill for making an incision and then bill again for the stitches to close that same incision, right? Of course not. The closure is part of the main procedure, so it gets bundled into one code. Spotting these improper separations is an absolutely essential skill.
All right, let's move on and see how this all connects. Because knowing the rules is one thing, but applying them correctly on the industry's standard claim forms, well, that's where the rubber really meets the road.
First, the basics. The CMS 1500 is for professional claims. Think your physicians, your practitioners, your suppliers. The UB04, on the other hand, is for institutional claims. That's for hospitals and other facilities. Using the right form is step 0. But the real challenge is in the details, inside the fields themselves. So you get that dreaded denial, and the reason is super vague: incomplete field entries. A novice might just stare at the form, completely overwhelmed.
But a professional? A professional knows exactly where the most common errors hide.
This is where you focus your energy. You immediately check the insurance ID in Block 1A for typos. You verify the diagnosis pointer in Block 21 is correct. You confirm the prior auth number in Block 23, and you double-check the provider's MPI in 33A. It's a systematic search, not a random guess.
Now, let's switch gears to an institutional claim. The UB04 is denied for wrong facility info. With 81 different fields on that form, where in the world do you start? Well, just like with the CMS 1500, there are key form locators you check first. And this whole idea of a system, that's what ties everything together.
And this, right here, is the key takeaway. None of these topics, not Incident to, not global packages, not the claim forms, they don't exist in a vacuum. They are all part of one single interconnected billing system.
Inside Exam Coaches, this is how we teach it, as one integrated system. First, you ask, who can bill for the service? That's your Incident to analysis. Then, what is included in that payment? That's your global package review. Next, what is allowed to be billed separately? That's your unbundling check. And finally, how is it all reported correctly? That's your mastery of the CMS 1500 and UB04. You see, it's one cohesive process from start to finish. And this really is our core philosophy. We don't just lecture you on the rules. We actively train you in compliance judgment, in structured thinking, and in the high-level decision-making skills that truly define a certified professional biller.
Because at the end of the day, passing this exam and having a successful career, it's not about memorizing the most regulations. It's about having the confidence and the framework to apply the right rules correctly every single time.
What you just saw was just a small glimpse into our approach. The complete, integrated framework that builds this level of judgment and gets you ready for the exam, it's all waiting for you inside.